Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today I am going to teach you how to stop overthinking. Now we have a habit of interpreting too much in our life. Like somebody comes up to me and says something to me. Let's say I have a next door neighbor who's very nosy and they'll come up early in the morning, right when I'm in a sleepy mode and just trying to rise up. They'll come and say something to me that just irks me, and it's about my house, or it's about my children, or it's about something that I did a few days back that they didn't like. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to interpret too much into it. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day thinking how they said something to me, and why they said something to me, and then I'm going to make myself feel miserable over that sentence that they said to me that just irked me. And that's how we are living our life. It starts with a nosy neighbor, then it goes on to your spouse and your children, or somebody at your office, your colleague, and that's how you end up thinking too much in this life of yours. And today I'm going to teach you very simple things that can help you overcome this habit of yours of thinking too much all the time, because the very first thing that you do is you interpret too much. You have to stop doing that, because the more you interpret about how someone has behaved, the more you entangle yourself with the idea of this person that they're creating. So they're creating this individual that is not true to your own identity. But now the problem is that you're identifying with this individual that they were creating. So someone is saying to you that you are very rude or you're very talkative. Now you're going to take it to your heart. Like, I'll tell you this incident that happened years ago in my own personal life. Now I was sitting in a restaurant in a company of like really good people in my life, and this one person who was very close to me, came up to me and said to me, on the way back in the car ride, what they said to me, that you talk too much. And I was taken aback. I mean, I was just having normal conversations and I was just laughing around with my friends and family members. And this person had the audacity to come up and say to me, because they were the quiet ones. Now, I know right now I'm saying audacity, but at that time I thought, how can this person say this to me? I mean, what gave them the right to say something like that to me? And of course, that was the time when I had not really woken up to the idea of really taking care of my thoughts. So what I did was I spent months, I'll tell you, months trying to recover from that one sentence in my life. And I think that's exactly what's happening to a lot of individuals. You get this kind of feedback from people that, you talk too much, or you don't talk at all, or how do you dress this way, or how can you do this in your life? We are always and constantly getting feedbacks about ourselves, and what we are doing is we're interpreting too much into that feedback. So if you want to change your life around, you have to stop interpreting too much into what somebody is saying something to you, because the moment you do that, it is going to liberate you. You're going to feel so liberated in this life of yours, because now you're no longer attaching yourself to that identity that somebody has created for you. So how can you stop yourself from identifying or interpreting too much into this individual that they're creating for you? Is not really paying attention to that feedback. Let them say whatever they want to say to you. It's their opinion, and everybody has the right to give that sort of opinion in their life. It's your right or your choice not to take it as your own truth. Now, that is something that I live by in today's time. I don't really take anything, to my heart. I just take it on face value. Somebody says something to me, and people have this general idea about me that they come up to me and they say certain things to me. And I oftentimes don't reveal myself to people because I like to keep my energy intact. So what I do is I usually don't say too much to people when they're saying this to me. Like, you're not talkative enough, or you don't say anything to us about what's happening in your personal life. Now, that is something that I'm choosing to do on daily basis. That is, I don't want to give out too much of information about myself to people until unless I really know them. So if there is somebody on the outside, circle, if they come up and say something to me, I really don't pay attention to them. If someone is genuinely giving me a feedback, I know that they're very close to me and they really understand me, then yes, I have to understand where is it coming from. But unless not really close to me, I will never take their feedback to my heart. So the second point is very easy to incorporate, and that is you have to stop doing too many things at one given point of time. If you have too much on your plate, then what's happening to you is that you're feeling overwhelmed in life. And maybe in your 20s, you can do it very easily, but let me tell you, in your 40s, it becomes very difficult to handle everything at one go. And if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, then you'll realize that you don't have that same kind of energy and motivation to do everything in life. So if let's say you want to take care of your health, your finances, your personal relationships, you're juggling with everything. So what you can do is you can keep these goals that are interchangeable. So one day you focus on your health, the other day you focus on your finances, or you can take two things at one day and then one thing at the next day. So you allow yourself some breathing space, because if you don't, you're going to feel overwhelmed, and yes, and you're going to overthink every decision of yours. Is going to be based on whether I can do this. Okay, I'm not capable of it, then I'm going to give this goal away midway. And that's exactly what's happening to most individuals. We have too many goals and too many aspirations, and then we feel the burnt of things. We don't allow ourselves breathing space. We don't allow ourselves some grace. Now, if you want to do well in life, what you have to do is you have to switch between your goals. You keep two goals. One is a goal that is very, very tough, and one is an easy goal. So you combine them together, and then you create a pace at which you want to work. Right now, you've not really focused on your pace. You've not focused on how you're going to reach there. You are only focusing on, okay, I have to finish these tasks, I have to reach my goal, and that's not giving you enough time to think. And what's happening to you is that because you're feeling overwhelmed, you have too many thoughts and they're crashing like anything. They're making a lot of chaos in your mind. So, to remove all of that chaos, what you have to do is you have to focus on one tough goal and then one easy goal. And I think that's how you can create a better system for you, because you have to create better systems that work out for you. Right now, you don't have a system in place. You are all over the place, and that is why you're overthinking all the time. Come on to the third point. How do we change the way we've been thinking? Most often times you'll find that you have a pattern of thought process that you have created over the years. Now you have a program that is working out in your subconscious mind that you're not even aware of. And you're feeding this program thoughts that are on a repeat pattern. So you need to catch those sneaky thoughts. And how can we do that? I always tell people who want to, change the way of thinking is to pay attention to their thought process. Now, it took me a lot of years, a lot of practice to do this, but I'm going to tell you it's not easy. But if you apply yourself, then yes, you can reach this level where your attention is always on your thoughts. My attention is never on the outside world, it's always what's happening within me. How am I approaching this life? How am I reacting to people? How am I reacting to situations? What kind of thoughts I'm thinking throughout the day? Because I've realized that it's not others who are creating problems in my life. It is me. I sit with these problems and I fester upon them for ages. You know why? Because I've created these habits of sitting on a topic for too long. And I do that very often. And I know this is very common. People do it all the time. You and me, there's no difference. It's just that I've worked upon myself and I've reached a level where I know how to sift through these thoughts and how to change my thoughts. And that's exactly why I'm here. That's why I want to teach you that, it's easy and it's doable. Because I tried everything. I tried going to people. I tried, interacting with individuals who were doing better than me. And every time I went and met them, I felt nice. But then when I came home, I was going back again into that phase of overthinking all the time. And it didn't help that my environment was not good. It didn't help that nobody had really taught me how to sift through my thoughts. So then, over the years, I worked upon myself through trial and error. I reached a place where I understood that, you know what? I don't have to pay attention to what's happening around me. I have to pay attention to how I'm responding to this world, because that's where the trick is. If I'm not paying attention to my thought process, if I'm not paying attention to how I'm reacting to the world, I am missing out on a critical area of my life, and that is my thought process. Now, if I'm not paying attention to my thoughts and they are just going around in a loop, it's making me feel all of these emotions that are not actually true. So it's making me feel dejected, it's making me feel depressed, it's making me feel sad and anxious and stressed out for no reason, because I'm the one who created all of these thoughts in my mind. Maybe the world is not the right place, maybe. But what's even worse is the world I've created here in my mind. How I'm looking at people, how I'm interacting with people, how I am receiving this life, you know. If I'm receiving this life with abundance, abundance is going to come my way. But if I'm receiving this life very poorly and I'm looking at all the things that I'm lacking and all the things that are not working out for me, looking at my decisions from a place of lack, then all of my life is going to look as if it's lacking somewhere. But if I'm going to make decisions based on what I have and how I can make it better, then my life is going to look full of abundance. And that's how you approach life. You look at life from a place of your own thought process. And that is why you need to pay attention to what's happening internally. You have to pay attention to the kind of thoughts you're thinking. So, my advice to you is that you pay three-fourths attention to your own thought process and only one-fourth attention to the outside world. Now, this has worked out for me, and I hope this works out for you too, because I am telling you, is the most easiest thing to do with practice, of course, then it becomes very, very easy. Then you get into a habit of just paying attention to your thoughts and you never pay attention to what is happening on the outside. So coming on to the fourth point, all you have to do is create these pockets or gaps in your life where you're not thinking too much. And it's very easy to do that. I know for a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, how can we do this? It's not possible. We are leading a very chaotic life. I know you're leading a very chaotic life. And so was I. Until I realized that I have to give in to the idea of creating these gaps or pockets of peace in my mind. And how can we do that? We can create one activity every day that allows us to just be there, you know, be present in that moment. What we're doing is we're living always either in the future or in the past, and that is why we're always overthinking. Now, we have to come to that present moment. So either it can be that, you know, you take up walking. I think walking is really amazing. If you allow yourself 15 to 20 minutes or half an hour walk every day, and that walk should be done alone. Don't take a buddy along conversations. Just listen into these sounds and just be there, you know. Why I am saying walking is because every time you take a step, your focus is on where you're stepping, right? Your focus is on what's happening around you. So you're no longer sitting here and focusing on what all you're thinking. And you should do it either early morning or evening time. I think evening time is the best. It works out for me in the evening because the entire day has gone by. And then I just want 30 minutes of peace. So I'll go for a walk and I'll not think anything. I'll simply just tell myself, okay, now I'm like a, you know, mechanical thing and I'm switching off my mind. I'm just walking and nothing else. That's the only activity I'm taking part in. I'm not taking part in the activity of thinking how my day went, who said what, how did I respond, how was my day. Do something every day for 30 minutes that allows you not to think. Now, that is an activity that you can choose for yourself. Also, of course, I'll say meditation, but most people will not do it, and it's okay. Also, what you can do is you can sit and listen to some really beautiful songs. And these are not the songs that are coming in from Bollywood or any of these pop culture music. No, I'm talking about your old ragas. Now, most of this music is made with vibrations in mind, they are vibrating at a very higher frequency. So when you sit and listen to these ragas, what happens to you is that you tune yourself into that higher vibrational frequency, and that allows you to escape your constant overthinking. Of course, it's all up to you. Whatever you want to do that activity for 30 minutes every day. Either it can be walking, singing, or exercising, something that allows you to escape your day. Because you need to escape your day. You need to escape all of that chaos that's happened around you. The idea here is to allow ourselves to stop this constant chatter in our mind. And this constant chatter is happening because we are habituated to doing that. So let's say you're habituated to, writing with your left hand. Now suddenly you have to teach yourself how to write with your right hand, vice versa. Now that is what you need to do in life. You need to teach yourself this whole process of not thinking too much. And you can do that by stopping yourself every time you go into this hyper mode. Even if you're driving, cooking, or talking to somebody, there's this hyper mode that's going on in your mind. You're just thinking like a mad individual. It happens to everybody, it happens to me also. But the idea is that I can stop it. The moment it happens, I just go into a phase where I say, oh, okay, this is not happening. I am not taking part in this activity where I'm going to just keep on thinking, oh, what happened? How this person said something to me? I'll get a phone call from a narcissistic individual, and then I'll go into a hyper mode. Same thing happens to a lot of people. So that's okay. The moment you realize that you're going into a hyper mode, you can shut it down. You have to tell your mind, because it's like a monkey. So you have to tell your mind, you know what? I don't want to listen to this right now. I don't want to partake in this. And you start doing something other than what you were doing at that moment. So let's say if you were driving, and of course you cannot get out of your car and stop driving. But what you can do is you can listen to some music, or you can start tapping your fingers, or you can, let's say, okay, if you're not driving and you're sitting at your desk and suddenly you have this, thing where you're just thinking too much, you go into this hyper mode. What you can do is you can get up from your desk, go for a walk, small walk, and then come back. And that's how you can, stop yourself from overthinking. Now, these are the things that I've done and they've worked for me. These are the things that I can teach you. And if you want to learn more, then you can follow my channel and subscribe to my channel. And if you like my content, do like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.